Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that Pinguino Greco, here again with another episode of Deep Listens, and today we are going to be deeply discussing Dream Daddy. Dadification, dutifully, durdles, downward on today's show.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
And today I am joined, as always, by Pete Busby.
What's going on, everybody? Excited to discuss dadding, what it's like to be a dad. I didn't find any dad fun facts for this podcast. Once again, I'm non-topical. But I did find something else that I understand almost all of. So apparently scientists have discovered the first known animal that doesn't breathe.
What?
Yeah. So this animal, it's a very small parasitic thing. It's related to jellyfish. And it has no mitochondrial DNA. Right, so the mitochondria have now become mitochondria-related organelles. Doesn't really matter, right?
Okay.
So they can't do aerobic respiration. They don't breathe. They can only do anaerobic respiration. And they knew some bacteria could do this, but this is the first animal they've ever discovered. So this is from, I'll give you the title of the article. I can pronounce almost all the words. Cnidarian parasite of salmon, Myxozoa heneguya, lacks a mitochondrial genome. So they made it very boring, but the upshot is animal doesn't breathe.
Very cool. I've got a dad fact.
Ooh, dad fact.
Daddy longlegs are not actually spiders.
What are they?
They're some sort of weird bug.
Okay.
Dang it. I wasn't prepared for a question.
I was going to say, it seems like the obvious follow-up. They're super creepy regardless of what they are.
It's an arthropod.
It's a super
It's an
creepy
arachnid,
arthropod.
not a spider.
Okay. So all spiders, well, I think all spiders are arachnids, not all arachnids are spiders?
Yes.
Gotcha. Because I think scorpions are arachnids.
Yes, they are arachnids. Crane flies also are apparently arachnids.
Ooh, crane flies.
Yeah, so fun fact. They look creepy, they look like spiders, but are not spiders.
Nice.
And we are joined also, as always, by M. Palladino.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I looked up crane flies. They're the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Nobody else looked them up.
Oh,
Okay.
you've never seen a crane fly? Well, you've
No.
definitely seen a crane fly before. You might
I'm out.
not have.
I don't want to discuss them anymore. They're hard.
Oh, ew. What the
I used to think that those were just female mosquitoes, and they are not.
They're horrible, and I hate Google images.
They prey upon mosquitoes, though, so
Okay.
They're
They do one
so
good thing.
fucking big.
they are.
Hi, everyone. I'm upset about crane flies.
I'm sorry to start the show off this way, but, when you talk about daddies, sometimes you got to get upset. So before we discuss I was going to say Dadliest Catch, but it's not. That's not the name of the game.
That would be a great name for this.
That would be
game.
good. Dad Dating Simulator 2, Dadliest Catch.
No, it's because I recently saw Octodad Dadliest Catch, which is a real game. Dream Daddy. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show at Deep Listens Pod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We've got our comment sections and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. No emails today. You can also support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. That is responsible for the new music you hear every time the show starts for listeners who've been listening for more than 2 weeks. And it is also how we support, getting these games and keeping the hosting going. So thank you to everyone who supported. And if you support the show on Patreon, you also gain access to our Discord, which means you might end up on the Discord report.
The Discord report. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. This week on the Discord, I don't know if you guys heard, the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo came out.
I did hear. And then I immediately forgot about it.
Yeah, me too. I downloaded it and then I haven't played it yet. We are talking about doing an episode about it in like maybe, I don't know, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, I'll need to
And
play it at some point. Maybe I can hop over and play it or something, because I do not have a PS4, and that is a PS4 exclusive demo, correct?
oh yeah, it is. I didn't even think about that.
I watched a lot of it off screen at PAX East, but I did not get to play it.
Oh yeah, and you went to PAX. How was that?
PAX was very nice.
Mhm.
We covered this on the PAX recap show, but I won some games of Final Fantasy TCG. They stepped up the stuff there this year. I played a lot of cool games, so you can check out the podcast before this one if you want to hear all the games I played and all the stuff. I also, on the Discord, confirmed a rumor that I heard that Square had co-marketed with Butterfingers.
Like the candy?
Oh
Like the
yeah.
candy.
Good candy, but what does that have to do with anything?
Like there was a standee that was like Game Better or something, Butterfingers, and then there were two different standees. One of them had Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, and it says Game Better with Butterfingers, and then it's her like putting on her punching gloves. And then there's another one that says Game Better with Butterfinger, and there's a giant cloud next to a Butterfinger wrapper. And those were real. I confirmed that with my reporting.
Yeah. Important news out of PAX.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course. You know, these are the sort of hard-hitting things that we get into in the Discord. And yeah, I did actually solicit on the Discord what people wanted me to check out at PAX, anything in particular. So I saw a lot of couch co-op games and a lot of indie games because that's what people wanted to hear about. So if you want to guide my PAX experience a little bit, get in there.
Yeah. I gotta get my stuff that I had you pick up for me.
You do. I've got your Alice, and I've got a Gunbreaker pin.
Excellent.
And I also got myself a Blue Mage pin because it's a
Nice.
mask.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dope mask. Speaking of dope things that I like, it's time once again for my obsession. This is my obsession. This week, have you heard, either of you, of the show Love is Blind?
Have heard, haven't watched. Read
Yeah,
about it a bit.
I've heard stuff. I'm not sure what to make of it.
Do you know what the premise is?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so the premise is it's a reality TV show. Well, they refuse to say it's a reality TV show. They say it's an experiment. And the experiment is we get a bunch of ladies and a bunch of dudes, and we put them on opposite sides of this complex for like a week. And the only way the dudes and the ladies, they are all looking to get married. They are all of Marian age or Marian desire, and they can't find spouses. So they're going to go in these pods where they can talk to people of the opposite sex through a wall, and they will get to know each other without ever seeing each other. And if after a week of this, they feel a real deep connection with someone, they can propose marriage to the other. And if they accept, then they get to see each other. And then then they'll be whisked off to Mexico for like a honeymoon thing where they get to know each other. And then a week after that, they meet all the parents. And then like a week after that, they get married. It's like 40 days total.
So it's like blind 90 Day Fiance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, the first episode is the dating. The second episode has a little bit more dating and then, like, proposals. So this thing moves real quick. They're hour-long episodes. And I would say that the unique thing about the show is that maybe 3 or 4 people seem like – no, I'd say like 4 or 5 people seem like normal human beings that could have gotten along if this was not involved. And then there's maybe like the other half of the people who just seem like chaos. They're just pure chaos. There's people who just clearly should not be together, but because of the structure of the show, they proposed despite having very tenuous connections to one another. There's people who didn't tell the whole truth when they were behind the wall, or they didn't tell meaningful things before they proposed marriage to a person. There's all the complexities of, hey, we talked about all these like deep things about what we want in our lives and like what we want out of our families, but I didn't mention like I'm broke. I didn't mention that I'm
Small
deeply
fact.
unemployed.
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mention that, like, my family's super judgmental, and they might really care about something like this. Something about your biography.
I'm actually 2 babies in a trench coat. Like, just small things.
I wanted it to go there. I wanted, like, some people to be plants or something. Like a voice actor who's just doing a bit.
Like, they're completely different than the way their voice sounds.
I wanted it to be that every time someone came in to date this person, they sounded different and used a different name.
I think it would have been funny to just scream. Like, every time I'm behind it, just scream wildly.
There was someone who, she's a lot, and one of the people who was talking to her, like, she was just going off, just, like, talking about herself and talking about her dreams and her aspirations, and the person who was on the other side of the screen just got up and left. Which,
how long did she keep going for?
Unclear. It was edited as soon as he like sneakily got up and left. It was pretty. That's not great.
Nice.
Like, there's people who juggle multiple people. Like, they're playing the field for the first week, and then it's like, well, I don't know who I'm gonna pick out of these 3, and all these people dig me. Well, I hope I'm not a sociopath. Yeah. So the show's a fun time. I don't know that these relationships work. I know at least one of the couples is still married. And,
Good
like,
for them.
they seem to be very stable. They will jump out pretty immediately. But it's a fun show. Some of these people are messes. Mark, you're making a mistake, Mark. Please. I don't know how this is going to end for you, but please.
I wish I knew anything about this so I
walk
could
away. People who
make a judgment.
People who know, who watched, you need to walk away. It's not going to work out. I don't think it's going to work out for you. You're trying so hard, but just let it go.
Don't listen to him, Mark. True love's hard. That's how you know it's true love.
That's true. It's the difficulty that makes it. That's the earmark of true love, is the difficulty.
That's what I learned from To All the Boys, too.
Yeah. I actually saw the dude from To All the Boys 2 on Broadway. It was cool. He's in Dear Evan Hansen now.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, nice time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, let's pivot to Dream Daddy.
Dream Daddy.
Oh, yeah, there's the song at the end.
Yeah.
And what is Dream Daddy?
Dream Daddy is a dad dating simulator, which is a visual novel made by the people behind Game Grumps, which you might be familiar with if you have been on YouTube in the last ever. Dream Daddy is an interactive visual novel where the player is a lonely single father who has just moved into a new house with your daughter, Amanda, and in the cul-de-sac where you live, there are a lot of single fathers who you are
amount of single fathers.
a strange conglomeration of single fathers.
Almost exclusively single fathers.
Yes. And they are down to date, or in some cases, they're dealing with fatherhood and life as they juggle being fathers and dating other fathers, I guess. There are 7 fathers available to date, ranging from the youth pastor next door, a goth interested in Victorian trappings. Who else?
So the names.
Teacher, Matt. Matt is a coffee shop owner. Craig is your old college friend who is now a father of twins and a little baby.
Fitness stuff.
Yeah, he's a fitness head. You can go to the gym with him. Hugo, who is your daughter's teacher. Brian, who you have a little rivalry with, kind of a big rivalry with at times. Damien, who is the goth interested dad. Robert, who is an enigma almost the whole
Bad
time.
boy dad.
Yeah, he's
got a
the
leather
rough
jacket.
and tumble. Yeah, always drinking. He's
got
a character.
tattoos.
Yes. And Joseph, who is the youth pastor next door, who is
Yeah.
usually the one holding the barbecues.
I think we must mention Damien the Goth's full name is Damien
Mhm.
Blood March.
Yes, that's important to note.
I mean, that pretty much captures everything about Damien.
Yes. All of the other dads you meet pretty organically when you move to the cul-de-sac. Damien you just meet at the barbecue, at the first barbecue, because
Oh,
how
You
would
know,
know
you can meet him at the mall.
you can
What?
go to the mall with Amanda, and
Oh, really?
yeah, if you go to the mall, Amanda is like, I want to go into this Hot Topic knockoff because we
Dead
can't
Goth
say
and
Hot
Beyond,
Topic.
I think.
Yeah, Dead, Goth, and Beyond. And then you go in there and Damien is like trying to return something because he's like, this isn't Victorian, this is European.
Edwardian.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So depending on the choices you make in the beginning of the game, you might see others before the cookout in the initial
Okay.
segment. Yeah.
All right. So I didn't realize how much variance there was in the early game, because the early game you're pretty much moving out of your house. I guess we should start at the beginning. You create your dad.
Yes.
It is a robust dad creation system.
Yeah, it's first make your dad, then name your dad, then be your dad,
Hmm.
which is pretty good.
As far as the dad creation, what did you guys go with?
I just went for verisimilitude. I was like, what do I think I'm going to look like if we're, basing it on our present selves in 20 years when I would have a college age child, maybe, potentially. So I did Peter 20 years from hence.
Okay.
I should have
Gino?
been grayer then. I didn't do the math. I assumed I went Gino now if jumped. Somehow I had a child at 10, I guess. Things got weird for me.
Yeah.
But my character is as close to me as I could get with anime eyes.
Of course. Naturally.
Did you notice you could do like Goku hair?
I
You
did.
could make Goku in the character creator.
I didn't try Goku hair, but I saw it was an option.
Goku's a pretty horrible father, though. I passed on him because I was like, he is a terrible dad.
I do want to do a playthrough of this at some point where I'm just Goku. And
You're role-playing Goku?
Yes. Yeah, I think
You're
that
just
would
trying
be
to
great.
fight Craig the entire time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need to power up so that you can beat Craig finally. You keep telling your daughter she just needs to fight harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amanda goes Super Saiyan. Yeah, there's an option to make your father a trans man.
Oh.
Yeah, you can like put a binder on him. So I usually go that route. It's like very discreet.
You also get to pick your dad's sexuality at the beginning. You can decide whether your dead spouse was your wife or husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and you can also pick your relationship to your daughter as well. Your daughter can be adopted or biological.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was a nice touch. And the game carries those choices forward throughout. And you basically start the game by creating your dad. You set up your relationship with your daughter, who's precocious and very sarcastic. Everyone's sarcastic in this game. And you're moving out of an old house because now it's too big for you, and you're downsizing and moving to this cul-de-sac full of dads, full of single dads.
There's a cul-de-sac joke in there somewhere, but I think we're above that.
There are a lot of cul-de-sac jokes in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of jokes, like puns, a lot of dad puns. So many dad puns.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised they didn't make more. Just constant.
And it felt constant.
Yeah.
I will say I did not anticipate how much of this game. I mean, I knew it was a dad simulator. I didn't anticipate how much it was simulating being a dad versus simulating dating dads. Because you spend a decent amount of time parenting your daughter, Amanda, helping her out with school problems, helping her out with different issues that are coming up with the move. You tell a bunch of dad jokes. Like, I think the things that jumped out the most were the fake TV shows.
Yeah. You're constantly...
truckers.
What is it? Like paranormal ice fish truckers.
It's paranormal ice road truckers.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you love watching a show about ice road truckers who are hunting ghosts.
And then at the cookout, she's like playing the game with some of the other neighborhood kids.
Yeah, there's also... So your dad will watch the History Channel, and all the dads watch the History Channel, and they all watch the Food Network. It's a very specific image of fathers that this game has.
Yeah, it's like for all like the diversity and like who these fathers are and how they sort of enact fatherhood, there's like a very clear description. It's like, oh, here's what a father does.
Yeah, it is the most middle class dad, I would say, of all these people. Like, regardless of what their backgrounds and quirks are, at the end of the day, they want to grill. They want to maintain their lawns. They watch Wine and Dine Mastermind and Paranormal Ice Road Truckers and some sort of cooking competition show called Meat Hell.
Yes, I mean, I guess you sort of need a certain level of homogeneity just in order to like mark these people as dads. Like there's a certain like dad signifier such that like when you think dad, these are the qualities you envision. It's performative in that respect. So I guess like they couldn't have gone completely, what's the phrase I want? So like they have a lot of variety, but they couldn't have completely various markers of dadification because then they wouldn't be recognizably dads. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're going for. Right. I just think that the image of what fatherhood looks like, even though the ages of the kids for each of these dads are different, the configurations of the families of each of these fathers is different, the earmarks that they use for the fathers are so similar that I think it really just narrows what they expect fatherhood to look like. Even if the person themselves and their sexuality is different, or their presentation is different, or even like their parenting style, it feels very compressed because all the moments that you have between your dad and the other dads are these same signifiers, these same kind of jokey signifiers.
Right.
Like you're all into Tiny House Hunting Brothers Extreme Edition.
There's something sort of like inherently punchline about dads too. Like, I mean, in like any sitcom, like Modern Family, anything like that, the dad's always sort of a doofus.
Yeah, and that's definitely what they lean into. Like, you don't see many of these dads, even the dads that have jobs, even when they're quote unquote working. Like, you're not. It's all because it's a dating sim. You're only really seeing them present you with a thing. Like, I don't see the dads very much making hard choices or living their internal lives very much outside of being a father or dating you. I guess they have their likes and dislikes, but it just the dating sim element seems to flatten these characters a lot.
It's true. I wonder, like, what would have happened if they had tossed like an absentee father into the mix?
Yeah.
Like somebody who just like spends all day at the office and like doesn't really care about his family. Like if you dated that person, what would that be like in the dad sim world? I mean, that like would ruin this sort of like cheerful, like good family vibe.
Yeah, that is not. That's not what this game is going for. This game is going for laughs. It's going for lighthearted fun. All of the dads, even the dads that seem dangerous or like, you know, quote unquote dangerous, like one guy's got tattoos and he drinks a little bit. They're all fundamentally good fathers, even if they're all single dads. It seems like some of them have disciplinary problems, but it seems like the disciplinary problems are their kids, not them.
Right.
for the most part, and I haven't played through all the routes.
Can
I-
we,
Go ahead.
while we're discussing dads, I didn't play Joseph's storyline. Did anybody?
No.
I did a while ago. I didn't for this playthrough.
So it seems like sort of what's the word I want? Like it's almost like a trope at this point, like the youth pastor that has a wife, but he's actually secretly gay, and like how does he navigate that? Like, I mean, we just saw a Republican legislator who was
Oh yeah.
like really, I mean, really pushed a lot of anti-gay legislation. He just came out. Like, there's sort of this trope of like the conservative closeted gay man, and I'm just curious how hard his story leans into that, or like if it does anything interesting with it. I didn't play it, so I don't know.
Well,
Does the game go
Like-
there? With Joseph,
yeah.
is that the story?
I mean,
Yeah.
he's married. He's got kids.
yeah, like Joseph's storyline is like very particular, like compared to all the rest of the storylines, because he's one of the dads, like a lot of the dads you do not end up actually sleeping with, or if you do, it's kind of like lighthearted, and they're like, well, then I gotta focus on my kid. Joseph, it does get a lot, like, a little bit more serious, until he's like, you know, I have an image to maintain, basically. And I am pretty sure he just, like, cuts it off, and there's no way to, like, you know, continue
Overcome that.
on with, like, which, I don't know, if that's, like,
Do he and his wife like have an understanding that this is what's going on, or
Well,
is
she's
this...
the woman you meet at a bar.
Oh, I know.
And,
She's like
Yeah.
hitting on people.
yeah, she's flirting with you pretty
Mhm.
heavily. So I don't know if the whole thing's open or what.
Yeah, they definitely. I'm pretty sure it doesn't come up as like, oh, we have an arrangement or something. I think they're both kind of like doing their own thing, and you know, I don't. It's a really sticky scenario for both of them.
Yeah, it seemed
But-
like a lot of complications were being
Yeah.
brought in for like, you know, the dad dating sim.
Yeah, it's like, for that one in particular, it's like really, it's kind of dark compared to the rest of the storylines. Robert's also, if you make certain choices, it could be like a little bit on the darker side. Yeah, but primarily, like, Joseph every time is going to choose his family over, like, you, even though you are the player. And as we were talking about in our romance podcast,
Mhm.
that's not a thing that you often see.
Mhm.
Like, usually if we are having romancing games, we want the characters to be, like, all in on us as players. But it was interesting to see, like, a character actually, you know, pull the brakes for once.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and I think it's also interesting that they introduced a sort of complicated family dynamic, because
Mhm.
every other character is divorced or a widower.
Yeah.
So having someone where there's not just this available person, and it's interesting that the kids are not an obstacle. It seems like for many of these relationships, I didn't go too hard into. I only completed the game once with one path, but it seemed like the fact that both of you have kids that are sometimes around the same age, sometimes pretty different in ages, is not a big deal for any of these people.
No, the only sort of obstacle the kids represent is really a question of time. Like, they need to spend time with their kids, or like they need to go leave to like pick up their kids or whatever. There's no question of like, oh, my kid hates you. Like, what do we do now?
My kid hates you, or I need to spend more time with my kid, and that means we can't date.
Right.
So none of that really comes up. It seems like the path with Amanda, your daughter, and your path with the other dads, like she's mostly telling you to go out and be on the town. Like she's trying to set you up pretty much. And her path and your relationship with her seems parallel to whatever paths you do with all the different dads on Dad Book.
So did any of you guys make your dad, did any of you guys give your dad a wife at the very beginning?
I did.
Okay. Does Amanda acknowledge that? Like, does she say anything about like, oh, like, I thought you were straight or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No,
I was just curious if there was any sort of acknowledgement of like, oh, we've had this conversation in the past. I know that you're not necessarily just interested in women. Because I gave my dad a husband.
Yeah.
No, it's all pretty much just if the game goes as it goes.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean, Amanda's what? 17? They might have had this conversation.
18.
Past 18. Yeah, sure. I'm sure it's come up at some point prior to this.
Definitely before the start of the game, I think.
Yeah, I don't think like Amanda would just never mention it if they hadn't discussed it.
I assume, and I also assume that Amanda's kind of in, because early on your interactions with the other dads can just be very, general, hanging out with people at a barbecue or just normal social interactions that are not sexual in any way or flirtatious necessarily. And I wasn't sure if Amanda was supposed to be reading into it that you're like flirting with all of these other fathers at like the first barbecue.
Just
you're
like
at.
7 dads at once.
Yeah. And like she helps you set up your Dad Book account. She's like, yeah, it's, so dads can talk about dad stuff. But it's basically your dating profile. So it's unclear to me how much Amanda's supposed to be in on it, how much of it we're even supposed to care about. We know what the deal is.
Right.
And the game's not necessarily super interested in exploring the dynamics of dating between like Amanda and her father.
No, I mean you can spend the night at Robert's early on in the game, and you come home and Amanda's basically like, "Oh, where were you?" And you basically say, "I had a sleepover at another dad's house." And it's like there's no further questions. Which, like, granted, like I don't think Amanda would be like, "Ooh, give me the deets. What happened?"
Yep.
Tell me all about it.
Does that ruin your relationship with Robert, or does that help your relationship with Robert?
It does not help.
It does not help? I didn't think so. It seemed like one of those Mass Effect 2, what's her name? The one with the psychic with the shaved head.
Oh, Jack.
Jack. Yeah, if you sleep with Jack in the early game, then you can't have the true romance.
Yeah, you basically wake up in the morning and he's like, "So you got to get out."
Yeah. All right, time to go.
It doesn't seem to affect. Oh no,
I
keep
think
going.
he ignores you at the next time you see him. Yeah, at the barbecue, or he like pretends that he doesn't know who you are. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It doesn't seem to affect your relationship with any of the other dads, though. I was expecting them to like bring it up somehow, but I don't think anybody ever does.
Yeah, very few of the dads
so.
seem to acknowledge your interactions with the other dads.
No, you can date all of them up to the third date, it seems. That's when things get serious.
Yeah, and that's when you get your ending.
Yeah.
So, how many endings did each of you see?
So when I did my playthrough, I focused on Craig as obviously the best dad, my soulmate. And then I watched Joseph's ending just because I was curious about it. But those are basically the only two I focused on.
Have you seen all the endings?
I've seen all of them. For this one, I did Matt, Brian, and Damien.
Okay, I went Damien.
Yeah.
You can die.
What?
In like various ways in this game. So if you go on a date with Craig, you end up cliff diving at a certain point.
Oh, you could fuck it up real bad.
Yeah. If you just continue to cliff dive over and over again, eventually you slip, fall, and kill yourself on the rocks. It's like, you can die.
There's bad end in this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can leave a man as an orphan.
Fuck. That's fucked up. What happens when you die? Do you just like...
It like narrates it. It like the darkness closes in as your blood pools on the rocks,
Fuck.
and then it just like flashes a screen. It's like, well, you're dead. And you start over.
I think you get an achievement for that in on Steam.
Perfect. That's what I need. It's worth it.
That's awesome. I did not get dead.
I did
You
not
didn't get all your
accidentally
achievements,
die.
So did either of you find your relationship with Amanda more interesting than your relationship with any of these dads?
I love Amanda so much. That's my daughter.
Yeah, our daughter I think is pretty good. She's the best.
Oh,
Like she's very
yeah.
understanding. I found her high school drama pretty good. There's a lot of moments where you're just trying to do the best you can as a dad, and I found those moments pretty compelling. And maybe it's just because of my inner dad instincts.
Mm-hmm.
I do. So, I mean, I agree with you completely. I think Amanda's journey is compelling. I like spending time with her. I do worry that there's like a slight, like, you know how people are always sort of like praising dads for doing things that are just like parenting?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this dad does his daughter's hair in the morning. Like, what an incredible man that he learned how to do that, even though, you know, he's a guy. I worry there's a little bit of that here, like in sort of like you're bumbling. Now, maybe, you know, what the hell do I know about parenting? Maybe it's, you know, super complicated and everybody's bumbling. But my only concern is that, like, he seems like a very hardworking, generous, good dad, but maybe that's a function of them making it seem harder than it should be. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, praising him for things that are obvious dadding.
I would say that the amount of intuitiveness that you can display is good parenting. And at least, like, the game just takes as a given that your dad is trying to... You're a single father, so you can't just leave some other chores or other things to other people. You're the cook. You're the person who's helping pick your daughter up from school, helping her through her issues. And so I think in this case, because you're a single father and all of these hardships fall on you, it doesn't feel like you're getting praised for doing minor shit. Okay. Though you can be, it seemed like there were some choices where you can just be a bad dad.
Yeah. I looked at the achievements in order to find that there was one for dying, and there's also one for getting a bad Amanda ending.
Ooh.
And I would love to see the statistics of like how many people have that achievement, because I feel like, how could you do that?
Yeah, I got the best
Amanda
dad.
doesn't deserve this.
Yeah.
I got the Dad of the Year achievement, or Best Dad achievement.
World's Best Dad.
That's the one.
Yeah, there's
That's me.
Cannonball is for jumping off the waterfall too many times and bleeding out. You could also let Amanda say fuck for giving Amanda permission to swear.
Nice.
Yeah.
When does that come up as a thing?
I don't know. Apparently I did it in 2017. I didn't see it in this run.
So does Amanda's story just keep playing out the longer you string along each of these dads? Like, do you get more story if you romance each dad to 2 hearts and then pick?
I think so. I think there's enough content that it kind of has a scene every in between. And then as soon as you get to 2, I think they're out of stuff.
Okay, because I basically I mainline that Damien.
Yeah.
I went on a date with Matt, and I was like, Matt, you're cool, I guess. But this Damien guy, he's into Victorian shit. Yeah, the Damien relationship's pretty good.
Damien's a character.
I love, you go around his Victorian house on the first date, and he shows you around all of his creepy fucking rooms. And one of them is his library.
Yeah.
And you can look at all, like, admire his big floor-to-ceiling window. He's like, Victorians spent up to 2 hours every day just staring out of windows.
Well, I didn't have shit else to do.
And you can pick up one of his books, and everything you do in his house, he gets more and more excited that you're spending time with his weird shit. And Em, did you ever pick up
Yes,
Damien's
of
book?
course. You pick up the book and start reading a passage, and it's Naruto and Sasuke fan fiction.
Crossfit. Yeah. It's like, and then
Very Victorian.
and then Sasuke started unbuttoning Naruto's ninja pants.
And then Damien's like, that one's from my private collection.
That one's classical. You can't
Yeah.
can't read that one. You wouldn't appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. That was so fucking fun.
Yeah, it's cool. Damien, so the hardship with Damien is that he's scared of scary movies, despite being a goth.
Yeah.
He's okay with death, and also he's an IT professional.
Yeah.
So he's basically the dude from the IT crowd.
I guess.
I don't know.
I haven't seen the IT crowd.
Oh, it's a good sitcom. You should check it out. But yeah, there's a goth IT guy in the IT crowd.
Well,
it's the dude from the Great British Bake Off.
Okay. Well, when he's IT man, he's not dressed up in his Victorian shit. He's just an IT dude. And then he's just like, hey, so I know that I am this Victorian guy on the, when I'm outside of the office, but I'm also an IT manager for a regional real estate firm. And I also volunteer at the local kennel. So I'm not as cool as you think I am.
I didn't think you were that cool.
Yeah. And I was like, don't worry about it. I don't think you're that cool. But you seem very genuine, and that's cool. Your colored contacts are really dope.
His kid's kind of a tool at first, though.
Yes. But
he grows on you.
Does he?
His kid does something super cool on your first date or first date?
It's the first date, yeah.
If you follow him to the school, he gets an emergency call from the school that his kid's up to no good.
Yeah.
And if you accompany him, he is trying to brick Hugo's son into the wall.
What?
They're reading the Cask of Amontillado in English class, and so they go down to the basement, and he starts to do it. And he
says, I'll give you some wine if you just stand here. And then he gets some bricks and some cement. And for 20 minutes, the kid just kind of lets him put the bricks around
the wall
him. And then
and Hugo is there, and he's like, we were reading this in class. Like, why did you let him do it for 20 minutes?
I do think my favorite line in the whole game is when you go to the school for the parent-teacher contest with parent-teacher conference with Hugo, and right before you leave, they're reading Catcher in the Rye in class, and he just goes, "Hugo, they ever catch that rye?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good puns, a lot of really good witty banter in this game. I just appreciated the writing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a line when you're dating Damien, and he's just talking about when I was a young boy, and then your dad goes, No, he says, when I was a young boy, my father, and you go, did he take you to the city?
Did you see a marching band?
Did you see a marching band? It's like, I don't know what you're getting at.
No idea
Nice.
what you're talking about.
Yep, he doesn't listen to MCR. My Chemical Romance comes up multiple times in this game. Which leads me to a question. Do you think this game, you know how Life is Strange feels like the teens are written by adults to sound like what teens sound like?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this game is written by adults for adults, and the teens it seemed like all their references were stuff that an adult would like, or our generation, appropriate for our generation, but would not be appropriate for a kid. I don't think an 18-year-old now is listening to My Chemical Romance. They're listening to 21 Pilots.
Yeah, they don't
Billie
catch
Eilish.
that Black Parade reference.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I do think so. I think you're right. I think it's written for adults. I also think it's written by, I don't know anything about this, but I assume it's written by non-dads.
I don't know if the Game Grumps are fathers.
At the very least, I don't think they're fathers of children Amanda's age.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So the Game Grumps guys are the producers. The writers, let's find out.
I thought they were the writers, too.
Who are the Game Grumps guys? Aaron Hansen is one of them. He's a producer. I don't know the other one. It's not important. I don't know. It's a lot of male names on the designers list. Vernon Shaw and Leighton Gray are the writers, but they do not have Wikipedia pages, so I could not tell you if they are fathers or not.
Okay. It just seems like with the sitcomification of these dads, it's very much a pop culture inflected view of fatherhood. I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be a realistic representation of what it's like to be a dad, but it is a nice message about all the different ways you could be a dad.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going for a reversal where Life is Strange is adults writing children. This is children writing adults.
Yeah, kinda. Also, but I'd say it's more 20 and 30 somethings writing as if the dads are all 20 and 30 somethings. Really, they're they should be. Some of them will be that age, I think, but your dad should actually be older.
Yeah, the references do seem a little off in terms of the chronology here.
Yeah, the notion that you have an 18-year-old and Craig has two 13-year-old twins if you got married around the timeline seems a little iffy, but that's fine. I mean, it works for me. Obviously, the writing was targeted towards our generation pretty directly.
Can we talk about the dad tips?
Yes.
Yes.
So, just generally good life advice overall?
Most of it.
Yeah, there were some things about credit, how to manage finances.
Yeah.
Start
building credit early.
Yeah, just decent life tips for the most part.
Yeah, and there were some dad tip 45, ask mom. Yeah, what did you think of how every date ends? So you get scores, and it's a dating simulator, so you get dialogue choices, and whichever dialogue choice you pick will give you different points with each dad. The bad choices have a black aura around the dad. The good choices have hearts. The best choices have hearts and crying emojis and eggplants.
Yeah, you got to get the eggplant emoji going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all know what that means.
Yep. And when you get the right choices, enough of the right choices, sometimes there's also mini games that occur during these dates, and I found them to be mostly fine.
Yeah, they were good.
They were fine.
They were all right. Which ones did you do?
I did the Fix the Gargoyle one with Damien.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did the Avoid the Mosh Pit or whatever with Matt.
Yeah, that one was good.
That one's hard.
Yeah. Do you get a different outcome if you avoid the mosh pit entirely?
I think so.
2 minutes?
Yeah. If you end up getting through it for the whole thing, then you get to meet back up with Matt. Otherwise, you are standing off on your own, and then you meet up at the end of the performance.
Okay, that's what happened to me. I didn't realize what the rules of it were.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a wave of people that you just needed to stay ahead of. And I didn't know what the hearts did. So, and then I also played the Craig running game, which is just a clicker, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You just click as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Are there any other mini games that are good? Oh, and there's, I guess, the Matt, no, not Matt, the Brian mini game where you brag about your daughter and it's Pokemon.
Yeah. There's also a fishing minigame with him if you go on enough of his dates.
Yeah, you can do the fishing minigame. You can do, there's a, in Hugo's route, you go to the aquarium and, you have to keep penguins from getting out of their pen.
What?
Why
it's a whole,
getting out of their pen?
It's in the story. You have to play it. There's a kid who is trying to release the penguins because they're on a field trip.
Because they have a heart.
Yeah.
Because they're trapped. Yeah.
Exactly. But you don't want to get the school banned from the aquarium forever. So you have to make sure the penguins don't get out. And you just kind of it's where you shoot out little hands and just push the penguins away.
Fun fact.
Yes.
company I work for got banned from an aquarium.
Oh, what'd they do?
We used to have a holiday party at an aquarium, and someone tried to feed the sharks sushi.
I mean, it is fish, you know?
Yeah.
The touch tanks were open, and someone tried to feed the sharks sushi, so then we couldn't have events at the aquarium anymore.
Yeah, that checks out.
So yeah, I relate to this very deeply.
Yeah. And then you have to bribe the child to get them out of the penguin enclosure.
Good. Bribe that child.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently I went down the wrong path, though Damien was pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
how does the Craig relationship work out? Apparently you can die, so that's cool.
Yeah, you can die. So Craig's a good dude. I mean, everybody's constantly hitting on him because he's super hot. But, like, it's all about you guys go on, like, a camping trip at the end, and you have to teach Craig how to relax because he's, like, super worried about, like, his daughters and his sporting good business. And then you get to the tent, and, like, you guys go basically skinny dipping together. You dry off. And then when you get in the tent, oh, snap, there's only one sleeping bag.
Oh, no.
So you guys have to share it. It's very sort of, and I was reading about it. I know the writers were inspired by it. It's very sort of reminiscent of Brokeback Mountain.
Okay.
Like these two men create a space for themselves where they can sort of, you know, leave I won't say the real world, leave their everyday lives behind and sort of explore these new aspects of their relationship together. It was actually pretty heartwarming. It was a very nice sort of journey with the two of them from, like, you know, college bros to eventually a relationship.
I have another relevant story.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
My grandfather went to see Brokeback Mountain because he loved cowboy movies.
Yeah, it's a little different from, like, John Wayne. It's not quite the same.
He
like it?
loved cowboy
Yeah.
movies. And
Yeah.
so, he was like, started watching the movie. He's like, these guys are cowboys. They're eating beans.
Yep.
And then as the movie continued, he was like, huh,
Oh.
something's different about these cowboys. I can't quite put my finger on it. And then he left the movie.
Oh.
He walked out, unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
he wanted a cowboy movie, and it was not a cowboy movie.
He wasn't prepared for it, you know?
No,
That's fair.
but it
How
was.
did he manage to go in blind? How did he not hear anything? Like,
Because he was an older man, and
that's fair.
my
just saw
I
cowboy
was
hats
not.
on the poster, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Yep, sign me up."
Yeah, he saw the cowboy hats, and I was not old enough to go see Brokeback Mountain, or like not to go see it, but no one was taking me. And none of his like friends or family were going to see Brokeback Mountain, but he saw an ad for cowboys.
That's fair.
It's a great story.
No one was making any other what other cowboy movies would you go see?
Yeah, I mean, there's really a dearth of them.
Yeah, this was pre-Hateful Eight or whatever.
Yeah, the remake of True Grit.
True Grit, yeah, it was before these, so, you know, he had to make do with what he had.
Do you guys know anything about, just while we're on this subject, do you guys know anything about John Wayne?
No.
So, like, my
no,
dad's a big John Wayne fan. I've seen a lot of his movies. But one of my favorite things about John Wayne is they cast him in a movie as Genghis Khan.
Dope.
They're like, we need
What
an
a fit.
Asian warlord. Who do we pick? We picked John Wayne. But they filmed it in the Nevada desert where they did a bunch of nuclear tests.
Dope.
And, like, a whole bunch of people on the production ended up getting cancer.
Oh, no.
And that's why
Jesus.
that's one of the reasons they thought John Wayne died of, I think, throat cancer. Was because he played Genghis Khan in this Nevada desert movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
This
rough.
is why you shouldn't whitewash.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story.
Racism kills, guys.
Oh,
Two big takeaways. Don't be racist. Also, shoot on location. Just because the Nevada desert's cheaper doesn't mean it's the place you film your Genghis Khan movie. All right. Well, do we have any other big takeaways? I thought the mini games were fine. Like, this game is gay as hell, and that's pretty cool. Like, there are not very many dating sims that got as much attention as Dream Daddy did. I honestly, how do we compare this with Butterfly Soup? How do we reconcile?
So, I mean, similar. This one's Butterfly Soup got darker.
It did.
Yeah.
This one was like more. I think more like explicitly. You know, like the whole idea is to like date dads, whereas like Butterfly Soup is more about like an emerging sexuality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a visual novel. This is a dating sim. This is just like, I'm going to date all 7 of these dads, get the death outcome, and then be released from this mortal coil. Whereas I think Butterfly Soup was trying to tell a poignant story. Though both of them, I feel, were targeted at people exactly our age with all the references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Agree with
I think people our age and with our general sensibilities.
Yes. So these games both worked for me. It was just interesting to play both of them so close together. I think I lean towards Butterfly Soup, but this game was also very fun. Like, I enjoyed it.
Do we need to pick our dad avatars? Isn't that the move? You decide which daddy you are.
Of these dads that you can date?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one.
I think I'd be some sort of weird mashup of Craig and Hugo, but if I had to pick one, I think I'm probably Craig.
I think you think you're Craig, but you're Hugo.
Maybe. I don't think Hugo works out enough though. I'm not as attractive as Craig is. I'm willing to admit that. He's super hot.
All of these dads work out.
They do. These
Except
are
for Matt.
Except for Brian.
Except for Brian, yeah.
I don't know. He's got some pretty big arms.
He does. He's
a
got
bear
that.
dad.
Yeah, he might have the like the muscle hidden under layers of fat, which I've seen.
Just no cardio. He's just pure strength work.
Yeah. I feel like I'm probably a Hugo Damien, probably.
Okay. Okay.
That combo. Damien's obsessed with death in a way that I can appreciate.
And I mean, you write a lot of Naruto / fiction too.
I do.
So.
That's true.
Everyone loves my cloaks.
I feel like I would be closest to Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt's pretty good. I love his puns. His pun game's good.
He's pretty good. He's the owner of a coffee shop, and all of the coffee names are like old like punk band puns. It's pretty good.
Was it like Tegan and Sarah?
Yeah, TEA
again and Sarah or something.
I
named
picked
some banana bread.
Yeah, I picked Grateful Bread. Banana bread.
Which one did I do?
He didn't like
Grateful banana. No.
Yeah, I went grateful and then in parentheses banana bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't like my sense of humor. There were a few times I went on a date with Matt and he didn't like any of my choices, and I was like, well, apparently my sense of humor and style does not align with Matt's needs.
Well, I mean, you were a Damien guy to begin with, though, you know?
That's true. Damien, everything I picked was just eggplants everywhere.
Craig's biggest problem is you have to deal with him constantly getting hit on by mothers. Like, Craig's just a walking thirst trap. Yep. And he sucked me right in.
And it worked.
Although there's like when you're going skinny dipping, you get to see Craig shirtless. He's very nice abs, but he needs to do a little bit more shoulder work.
Huh.
Yeah, his delts weren't quite there.
Well, I mean, all of these people have the same, like, 3 body types, so...
It's true, so.
Like, when his twins are on screen at the same time, it fucks me up. Wait, when he's shirtless, does he still have the baby Bjorn on?
No.
No, they don't bring the baby on the camping trip.
Because
cliff diving with a baby strapped to his chest.
I just hoped that there was only one version of that character portrait, and it was with the baby. When we're going skinny dipping, should you take off your baby? No, he's good.
I'll back through. Don't worry about it.
Put a snorkel on him.
I love that little baby. The baby is so cute.
It is. I like that it doesn't blink.
Yeah. She did have like weird variety of expressions, though.
What was that, Em?
Kids are messed up.
Mm-hmm. Joseph's kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're twins that pretend to be like the kids from The Shining. And Joseph is like, where did they learn to do that? And his wife is like, I think I taped over some Veggie Tales.
With The Shining.
With The Shining. And so they're just going around fucking with you. Just being creepy twins.
Yeah, I love that. I love all the dads commiserating over the baby doll that
yeah.
feed and then it shits. It's just like, well, I have 4 kids, but actually I have 5 kids because we got this doll that eats food and then poops, and now my daughter hates changing the diaper, so now I change its diaper. And all the dads are like, yeah, that thing fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This is like a very funny game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't play too many. Like, there aren't a lot of games, as far as I'm concerned, that are like genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this one really was.
Yeah, the scenarios are great. I think that it got a legitimate laugh out of me a bunch of times. It's really clever. Like when you take Damien on the so you buy tickets to a vampire movie, and also Damien writes letters. He does a dad book after the first date. He writes you physical letters, and then you have to send him physical replies. So your first physical reply, you have to like write a letter to him by picking the choices that you want. And you get tickets to a vampire movie because he's goth guy. And your daughter just pitches it. So what's this movie about? Like, oh, it's about vampires and vampire titties. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, daughter. I'll just put that. You can write that in your letter too. I made my letter mostly Victorian themed. He seemed to like it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Did you hang out with Robert at all?
No, not as much as I would have liked. 'Cause actually, I did at one point meet Hugo's son outside of like a supermarket, and he tried to get me to buy him vape juice.
What? I don't remember that at all.
It was a side. So when you're on Dad Book, you know how you can get messages from other dads on the right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them was like yourself, and it said, "Hi, me. This is you from the past. I'm sending this letter into the future because right now is an unacceptable time to buy ice cream. But in the time when you're reading this, it might be an acceptable time to buy ice cream. Don't be shamed. Don't be scared. Buy ice cream. You deserve it." And I was like, yeah, I deserve it. So I went to buy ice cream, and Hugo's son was standing outside of the convenience store, and he was like, hey, I'll give you $20 to buy me e-liquid. And
E-liquid.
And you're like, what's e-liquid? And he's like, it's electrolyte liquid for, sports.
Uh-huh.
And when you try to buy, and he's like, yeah, get the cran grape razzle. And when you go in and try to buy it for him, the teller tells you, oh, this is vape. What kind of vape would you like? And he's like, oh, this is vape? And then when you give him his money back, he's like, well, fine, I'll, get someone else to do it. And then an undercover cop picks him up.
Ooh.
And Robert shows up and claims to be his dad and covers for him.
Oh, that's
a
nice.
good move by Robert. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play poker?
Yeah. They go hard at poker.
Poker's great.
Robert puts up his car and his house.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then Craig is like, I'm out.
Craig is housing everyone, and then he's like, come on, are any of you any good at poker? And Robert's like, I'm great at poker. I'm a gambler for 3 years. I was gambling, and then I lost it all in Pai Gow. Lost everything. Lost my wife, lost my country. I had to spend 3 years winning back the money to come back to this land. And I look in your eyes and I say, are you going to call me?
Robert, no one ever knows what to make of Robert whenever he talks, because he says the most outlandish shit, and that's just an example.
He was just too much for me. I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it was great when he puts his deed to his car. He's like, look, you might think, hey, this guy needs that car. That's what he uses it for a living. That car was his home for a little while. Is this guy just trying to get me to, get out of this hand? Is he trying to just bluff me? And to that I say, I raise you my fucking deed to my house.
Wait, did he have the deed to the house on him?
Yes.
He
So he
reached into his
carried-
coat and then he took it out.
He carries that around expressly for this purpose.
He carries around not just that, but the registration for his car.
He's like, I might need this today. Like, who knows?
Yeah, I liked Robert as the wild card who I did not spend any time with.
Yeah. If you do spend time with him, you go like cryptid hunting.
Oh,
And-
that was real?
Yeah.
For mythical creatures?
Yes. He like drives you out to the middle of nowhere and you guys like sit in his car looking for, I think, Mothman.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the whole time you're like, I'm not sure if he's serious about this or not. Or if we're just sitting in his car, like, on a mountain. Is this romantic?
Yeah, I like that he's a tough dad, but he's just a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, the cryptid thing came up during a date with one of the other dads, and I thought he was joking.
No,
That's awesome.
You should play that route.
Mothman comes up in Damien's route, too.
Yeah.
Why are there all these Mothman references?
Because Amanda's like, so is he a vampire? He's like, nah, he's a Mothman. Curveball. Complete curveball.
What?
This game's really good. I recommend it.
Yeah. I also realized we are playing the Dead Rector's cut of the game, which is why you had the additional thing to get Ernest's vape juice, because it has additional side quests and mini games.
Okay.
Nice.
I did not remember any of that from my time playing it, 3 years ago, and that's because it didn't exist. So there you go. Even
Alright,
more
that's-
stuff.
That's good. So yeah, check it out. Check out Dream Daddy, not Dadliest Catch. Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. Be both the best dad you can be and date the most daddy. Did you notice that at the end of every date there's a score and then there's there's like a letter grade and then 2 scores, dad score and daddy score?
Yeah, I just assumed all like the scores were gibberish based on like the side like numbers too.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Do you think those numbers actually do anything for you?
No.
It
Okay.
seemed to me, I mean, the only thing I could make sense of it was like the hornier you were, the higher your daddy score was, and the more straight-laced you were, the higher your dad score was. At least that was the only correlation I saw. It could all be gibberish. I got S++ with Damien, though.
Nice. Good work. Damon
Yeah.
was all over you.
Yep. He was like, damn, you know all about silk and gargoyles.
I
Well,
see.
with that, that's all I've got. Do either of you have anything else for Dream Daddy?
No, I mean, good game. Pretty quick play. If I were, you people, I would check it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good game to play. It's a good game to play with other people too, I think, because the jokes are well written and they're interesting. Well, it is once again my turn to pick what game we play next, and
Do
I've
it.
decided to play a classic game that I have had on my list of games to play for forevers, and finally it is time to get around to it. I would like to play Day of the Tentacle remastered.
What the hell is this?
It's a classic hentai game.
I see. That's what I thought.
Yep. Spot on.
No, it is a LucasArts point-and-click adventure game.
He was really into hentai in his early days.
This is from 1993.
Yeah. So it is a LucasArts adventure game
It's
that
on
is
14 floppy disks.
Yep. It is from Ron Gilbert and Timothy Schafer. And it is kind of one of the games that put Tim Schafer and eventually of Double Fine Studios on the map. It is held up as one of the best adventure games ever made. Supposed to be very funny. So I've played many of the original LucasArts adventure games, but I have not ever played Day of the Tentacle.
Let's do it. Sounds good. Blast from the past.
All right.
A game almost as old as we are.
Yeah. Freaking me the hell out. Don't like that. But hopefully I'll like the game. So just a reminder, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We've got comment sections and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show at patreon.com/deeplistens. So thank you, Pete.
Yep. Always a pleasure, especially when we get to date some daddies.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you for playing this game. I had a great time. I'm going to leave you with some dad tips because I found the full list.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Number 69, it's okay to cry if you're feeling sad.
True.
Don't smoke.
Yeah.
Try not to make assumptions about people. Don't trust gas station egg sandwiches. Please don't pirate games. It's better to be early than late.
Yep.
It's rude to ask about people's hand tattoos.
Put on my face every day.
I did that with Robert, and he didn't like it one bit.
Yeah, it's rude.
Yeah. And that's the note I'll leave you on.
You know, I'm glad that tip 69 had nothing to do with the number 69 in any way.
You know, I was
Excellent.
expecting it.
Yeah.
I was like, are they going to go there for the dad tip?
I was hoping that they would, because they have 92 on this list. But unfortunate. I just figured that was a good place to start.
Disappointing they didn't jump to 420 after 96.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
Nice.
Missed opportunity. So thank you, listeners. Till next time, peace. All right, that's the show. Excellent. I might play through this game again. It sounds like the other paths are good.
They're so good. You also got to get the true ending.
What?
I don't know how I can't remember how you do it. I think you prioritize dating everyone? I don't know.
Is it just like a dad harem situation? Like, just all 7 of you together?
I think so, yeah. I think they come together and support you and Amanda through the end.
Okay, I guess that's good that it's not like a Hatoful boyfriend situation where it suddenly becomes a horror game.
It could have. Maybe Damien's route, maybe Robert's route could have gone that way.
Supposedly there is like a deleted content.
Ooh.
Where, like, in order to explain why there are so many single dads, Joseph is running a doomsday cult.
Oh, yeah.
That killed all the wives off.
I do remember that.
Yeah, but it was eliminated from the game.
Yeah.
That would've been great. Yeah, this is trying to be lighthearted. It would have been good if there was also, like, a Doki Doki Literature Club-esque thing.
It's like breaks.
But I think Doki Doki Literature Club came out after this game, or around the same time, so I don't think they could have cross-pollinated.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think a horrible horror game, just the most upsetting horror game I've played in a good long time, would have fit in Dream Daddy.